Hello, friends. If you have trouble sleeping, try listening to the story in this video. You will fall asleep in less than 5 minutes if you listen to the cool stories in the following video.
Willow was a curious girl who loved to explore places that no one else dared to go. One cloudy afternoon, as the wind blew softly through her window, she noticed a path in the woods behind her village that had never been there before. It was narrow, lined with the silver-leaved trees, and seemed to glow faintly even in the daylight. Her heart raced, and without telling anyone, she slipped through the fence and followed it. The deeper she walked, the quieter it became. Birds no longer sang, and even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Willow felt a strange pull, as if something was calling her forward. She clutched her satchel tightly, the one her grandmother gave her, filled with crumbs, a compass, and a tiny journal for sketching things she found. After an hour of walking, she stumbled upon a clearing. In the center stood a wooden pedestal, and upon it, a lantern unlike any she had seen. It was old and rusted, but its flame was alive, glowing blue and humming softly. She stepped closer, and as her fingers brushed the handle, a whisper tickled her ear. "The one who listens shall see the truth." Startled, she looked around, but no one was there. The lantern pulsed once, then twice, as if it were breathing. Against her better judgment, Willow picked it up. The flame didn't burn. It felt like warm water swirling in her palm. She realized then, this was no ordinary lantern. As she held it close, the trees around her shifted. Shapes appeared in the shadows, half-hidden paths, glowing symbols, and faint echoes of voices. The forest had changed, or maybe she was finally seeing it as it really was. That night, Willow stayed in the forest, too mesmerized to return home. As she sat by the lantern's soft glow, she heard the whisper again, clearer this time. "Lantern bearer, the forest has chosen you." Her eyes widened. Was the voice coming from the flame itself? She leaned in. The flame flickered, forming shapes like dancing leaves and twirling stars. Then came the voice again, gentle but firm. "A shadow has been awakened. You must find the lost lights before it devours the woods." Willow's breath caught in her throat. She wasn't sure what any of it meant, but she felt the weight of something important. Suddenly, the lantern pointed a beam of light toward a thicket of trees. The bushes rustled, and from them emerged a small creature with antlers and fur like moss. It blinked up at her with curious golden eyes. "You're real," Willow whispered. The creature bowed slightly. "I am Nim, guide of the lantern bearer. You'll need help, and I know the old paths." Willow smiled despite her fear. She had so many questions, but Nim was already walking, his hooves silent on the mossy ground. Willow followed, lantern in hand. With each step, more of the forest revealed itself. Glowing stones, invisible stairways, even floating islands. Whatever this journey was, it had only just begun. Nim led Willow to an old brook that whispered as it flowed. "The first light is hidden beneath these waters," Nim said, his antlers glowing faintly. Willow knelt beside the stream. The lantern's flame pulsed, then sent a soft beam into the water. As the beam touched the brook, the water parted like curtains. Beneath it, a glass orb shimmered with silver light. Willow reached for it, and the orb floated into her hands. As she held it, memories not her own flashed in her mind. Laughter of forest children, songs sung to the moon. But just as the vision warmed her heart, a shadow surged through the trees behind them. Dark vines slithered forward like snakes. "The hollow ones," Nim hissed. "Run!" Willow clutched the orb and the lantern, heart pounding. They dashed through hidden paths, Nim leaping gracefully and Willow barely keeping up. The shadows hissed and clawed, but never caught her. When they reached a ridge, Nim stomped the ground. A circle of roots rose to protect them. As the shadow creatures recoiled and faded, Willow looked at the orb in her hand. It no longer shimmered. It was glowing steadily now. One light found, she whispered. But how many more were still hidden, and how dark would the shadows become? Nim brought Willow to a grove where a colossal tree lay asleep. Its bark was cracked with time, and golden sap flowed like tears. "This is the sleeping tree," said Nim. "It holds the second light, but it only wakes for stories." Willow sat by its roots and lit the lantern. The flame danced, waiting. Slowly she began to speak, not a made-up story, but her own. She told the tree of her quiet life, of her longing for adventure, of how she never felt seen in her village. As she spoke, the tree's bark rippled like skin, and the sap glowed brighter. Willow felt her words echo through the leaves. Her story was being heard, not just by the tree, but by the forest itself. She continued, her voice trembling with emotion. The tree stirred, and a hollow opened in its trunk. Inside, nestled among soft moss, was another orb, golden this time. As she picked it up, the flame in her lantern swirled happily, merging its light with the orb's glow. Suddenly, distant roars echoed in the trees. "The shadows heard you," Nim said. "They know you're real now." Willow stood taller, holding the lantern close. "Then let them come," she said. "I'll find every light." As night fell, Nim guided Willow toward an ancient stone tower hidden deep in the woods. Perched atop it was an owl with feathers made of parchment. "That's Noctra," said Nim. "She guards knowledge, and the third light." Willow climbed the spiral staircase, her lantern guiding the way. Noctra watched her silently, eyes glowing like moons. "Lantern bearer," the owl croaked, "I ask you 3 riddles. Answer them true, and you may pass." The riddles were tricky, but Willow remembered her grandmother's old sayings, stories, and dreams. She answered each one with careful thought, and the owl nodded after each. "You carry not only light, but wisdom," said Noctra. With a flutter of wings, Noctra dropped a glowing scroll from her perch. It unraveled into a ribbon of light, wrapping around Willow's hand. It pulsed gently and turned into the third orb, this one shimmering like starlight. Suddenly, the tower shuddered. Shadows tried to climb the walls, but the light from the orb repelled them. "They're growing bolder," said Nim. "We must move quickly now." They entered a foggy valley where everything looked the same in every direction. "This place tests your truth," Nim warned. "Many get lost here forever." Willow tightened her grip on the lantern and stepped into the mist. Shadows twisted into familiar forms, her village, her parents, even herself. They spoke to her, whispered doubts, offered comfort. "You're not brave," one said. "Go home," another whispered. But the lantern flared whenever she believed in herself. She followed the whispers of the lantern, ignoring the illusions. The fog thickened, and in the center of the valley she found a pool of water that reflected not her face, but her fears. She saw herself failing, alone, forgotten. But then she remembered her journey, the warmth she had given the sleeping tree, the wisdom she used with Noctra, and Nim beside her all the way. She stepped into the reflection, embracing it. The mirror cracked, then shattered into light. From its shards rose the fourth orb, glowing with courage. The fog cleared, and the valley revealed a garden of crystal trees. "You faced yourself," Nim said softly. "That is no small feat." Nim and Willow arrived at a hollow filled with ticking sounds. Clock towers rose from the earth like crooked trees, their hands spinning wildly. "Time is broken here," Nim said. "The fifth light is hidden in the hour that stands still." They found a small cottage nestled among the gears and wheels. Inside was an old clockmaker, part man, part machine, who hadn't aged in hundreds of years. "My clocks keep turning," he murmured, "but I've forgotten why." Willow listened patiently to his tale. He had once been the keeper of forest time, but sorrow made him freeze it. She offered to help him remember and lit the lantern. The flame rose high, revealing an old music box tucked behind dusty books. When the music played, memories returned of laughter, a lost daughter, and a promise never kept. Tears streamed down the clockmaker's rusted face. "Thank you," he whispered. "You've given me back what I thought I'd lost." The hands of every clock stopped for a single second, and in that stillness, the fifth orb appeared. It pulsed gently, holding time within. Willow added it to the others. She now had 5 lights, but darkness was growing faster. Nim led Willow through a withered orchard where every tree bore stone fruit. "They say the sixth light sleeps beneath roots that remember," Nim said, "but no sound can wake them, only kindness." Willow touched the trees gently, humming a lullaby her grandmother used to sing. The trees didn't move. Then she sat beneath one and began telling stories, not magical ones, but quiet ones, full of love and small joys. As her voice filled the orchard, the trees began to weep. Cracks formed in the stone fruit, and glowing seeds floated upward like fireflies. The ground trembled, and vines gently lifted the sixth orb, radiant with quiet warmth. Just as she reached for it, shadows stormed in, turning seeds to ash. Willow shielded the orb, crying out, but her tears fell on the nearest vine, and it sprang to life, defending her with a wall of light. When the attack ended, Nim was injured but alive. "They're watching every step now," he warned, "but your kindness made the orchard sing again." Willow helped him up, more determined than ever. When the attack ended, Nim was injured but alive. "They're watching every step now," he warned, "but your kindness made the orchard sing again." Willow helped him up, more determined than ever. They approached a maze of thorns taller than towers, rustling with whispers and laughter that didn't belong to any child. "The seventh light lies in the center," Nim said, "but the maze feeds on regret." Willow stepped into the labyrinth. With each turn, the paths twisted into memories of things she wished she'd done. Helped her mother more, apologized to her friend, said, "I love you," when she had the chance. The whispers taunted her, and the lantern dimmed. But Willow stopped walking. She turned, looked back, and said aloud, "I am not perfect, but I am still good." The lantern flickered back to life, stronger than before. The thorns trembled, opening a path to the heart of the maze. There, resting on a bed of wild roses, was the seventh orb, brighter than any before. It sang with hope, healing the wounds around it. As she picked it up, the entire maze withered away, turned into vines of light that scattered into the sky. Nim looked at her, eyes wide. "You forgave yourself," he said. "That's a light not many ever find." The forest had changed. It no longer whispered, it warned. Trees leaned in and the sky turned a constant gray. "The final 3 lights are hidden deep in the heart of the forest," Nim said. "But the shadow knows you now." They crossed lands broken by the war of old magic, fallen statues, frozen rivers, and winds that carried forgotten names. Willow's lantern burned steadily, but the air grew colder with every step. They reached a cliff where the forest ended, and the dark veil began. "No light has entered here in 100 years," Nim said. Only those who carry truth can pass. Willow took a breath and stepped forward. As she did, the flame in her lantern flared white for the first time. The shadow screamed from the valley below, a sound that made the ground shake. The light in Willow's hand pushed it back, but only for a moment. Willow now held 7 lights, but 3 remained. With Nim limping beside her and courage in her heart, she entered the veil. Ahead, the final trials waited. The end was near, but so was the beginning of something far greater.